Hello, beautiful people. I am so very happy to see you here on the Awakening Summit. We are so excited behind the curtains, with my colleagues. We are so excited about this summit because we are dying to tell you all about your past, present, and future, and new ways to be more responsible, awakened, and find all the pleasure in life. It is very important and very precious to us, this idea and the whole subject, of course. And I really wish that you would sort of embrace it in your life and start thinking about all that stuff, what we are talking about here with my very beautiful colleagues. Now, I have a very exciting colleague with me. She is a spiritual change maker, Swanette Kunze. Hi, Swanette.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here on your summit. I'm also very excited to speak today a little bit about the future of humanity. And yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
My greatest pleasure. We are a team, We meet at summits all the time. It seems that it is a destiny. Well, I think it is a very nice destiny. Of course, you are actually shaping your own destiny. So you need to understand that, people. So that's what we are doing with Swanette. So you are a spiritual change maker. And it sounds like somebody who actually works on awakening people. Is it true?
Yeah, this is true. So what I really want to do is helping people to come in connection with their higher self, with their soul, and to understand that they are not only like this bio body, but that there is more that they can connect with. And if they are in their higher self, they can see also what is going around in this world right now, but also have connection perhaps to the higher realms. So this is what I'm doing, yes.
Oh, it's very exciting. And tell me, because people sort of have different expressions for different things, I mean, in Europe, we have something, we say something. In the United States of America, they call it another way of something, When I say subconscious, they say unconscious. And I am just lost because for me, unconscious means something different, I mean, we are talking about the higher self. What do you mean by this higher self?
So what I see is that we have a connection to our soul. The higher self is like this connection to our soul. Of course, as we are incarnating again and again, so it's like we're incarnated in this time, and then we are not in this bio body anymore, but are only on soul level. So this is where our whole history is in. We have the connection to that. And then, of course, we have also the knowledge or the wisdom of this part of us. So for me, it is like, the higher self is like being on soul level.
So we are safe to say that according to your teachings and understanding, this higher self is actually the door to the knowledge. Yeah. So through the higher self, you can connect with the knowledge.
We can. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So this is like the connection to the morphic field, which means that all the wisdom that is created all over our own lives, and also with all with all humanity, is stored there. You can imagine it's like a kind of the internet where everybody has access to, and everybody can write something in. So with our own story, we also leaving data there, and like being in our conscious mind, we don't have access to that. We only have the access that we have in this present time, what we learned in this present time, and of course, we use all our filters so that this knowledge is very little. No? We can't remember things we learned years ago. So they're perhaps in our subconscious mind still available, but they are not in our conscious mind. And so everything that is on soul level, we don't have a connection to that with our conscious mind as well.
Oh, it's very exciting. Yesterday I was talking to a colleague of mine. She has been my student for 11 years. So she knows quite a lot about my teachings also. And she was telling me that it was very difficult to get to people who are closed up, obviously. And well, we all experienced that. And we started to talk about what this closing up or closed up situation means. What do you think what it is?
Yeah, I think that it comes, of course, because of our culture, well, how we are grown up. If we are taught to be open-minded and are having very early the experiences also to look beyond. I think most of the children have these kind of abilities, but they are told that when they see something that is not visible in our normal realm, that the children, that the parents say, okay, this is not normal, you're making this up. So the children start to close themselves to what they are told, what they can see. And so they stop using this ability. And this means, of course, when they are older, they are not open to other perspectives or to other ideas, especially if it comes into the knowledge of quantum physics, for example, or like spirituality as well. I think that at this time, as we don't have this in our common teachings, that this is, yeah, that they are blocked to this kind of knowledge. Yeah.
Yes, it is very sad actually, because I know many children who experienced certain things. They've seen certain things. They had friends invisible to their parents, but not to them, of course. And if the parents don't understand the situation, they would say, oh, my child needs a psychiatrist or something, you know, a professional. And of course, when they talk about professional, they talk about modern medicine and modern stuff that is nothing to do with actually the situation. So obviously it is closed up by anybody who is called a professional. However, in my practice, I met few parents who brought their children to me to actually solve situations. And I was very, very happy, because obviously I was telling the children what was it. The parents didn't understand it, but it doesn't matter. They believed their children and they trusted their children, you know, and they didn't dismiss ideas. So it is very important to have this trust from your family, close family, first of all. And obviously it makes you a stronger person and a more creative person as such. Well, today we are here in this extraordinary place where we are. Most people would say it's very painful and a lot of suffering. And, you know, I mean, and it is absolutely true, because there are many very poor people. The poverty is highest, actually higher than ever been. And we have energy crisis and whatever it is. How do you look at today as a spiritual realm? What is going on for humanity in that upheaval, what we are actually experiencing here?
Yeah, what I see is that as you already said, a lot of people are in a state of suffering, of fear, anxiety. They don't know what is going on in this so-called pandemic, and they lose their jobs. They are forced to get a so-called vaccine to get back their freedom. So there's a lot of pressure on people. But at the same time, I see as this is a very chaotic situation of insecurity, and often from this kind of situation, something new will evolve. So on the one hand, this old system is going to break down. We can't go on like we have done this for the last hundreds of years and destroy our own environment, become sick because of all of the chemicals we have in our environment, in our food, the kind of lifestyle that it has to be faster and faster. People are really kind of in a situation or like being on the edge of their living. And often this comes then to a situation where they wake up. If the suffering is so strong that I understand the old way is not working anymore. So what is next? And I see in my surrounding a lot of people that are awakening and think about different structures, how they can become more independent from the system. Like they start buying land, they start growing their own veggies and fruits. They think about alternative energies and start creating communities as well, which means that they bring together other people that have special gifts and like little villages that are independent or more independent, or as much as is it possible at this moment to be independent, like also having their own water. For me, this is kind of the future I can see, that people start to come back to like the social aspects, how they can support each other, how they can create their own little villages with being independent as much as it is possible. This is one way. But also the other way is that people are going with the system and going into this more technocratic way, like they are fine with artificial intelligence, they're fine like having whatever, RFID chips and being vaccinated and everything. So for them, it is this way. So what I see is that we have two ways, like the technocratic way and also like this, I would call it magical way, where people can decide where they are now going to.
Yes, it is very interesting. Whenever we want changes, or whenever Earth or humanity needs changes, we have a chaos, because from the chaos, we can actually take few good ideas and good foundation, and we can build a future on the good foundations. However, some people would say that this chaos is not very good, because we need to stick to our past and bring the past with us, into the present, and build the future on this past. I mean, many people are talking about, oh yes, we won this war and that war, and we came from here and there, and our ancestors been doing this and that. Do you think it is a good idea?
To create the future on the past? No. I think that we have elements, of course, that are worthy to take them into the future. But also there's a lot of experiences that we don't need to continue. So I think it is a good idea at this time to look inside and understand what are the good experiences, what is a good knowledge or wisdom that we want to continue creating the future on, but also clearing the past, like not only in this lifetime, but also in the Akashic records. So what is it? What are still the traps we go into again and again? Like we don't need that anymore. And I think as we go into the future is always uncertain, but we are the ones that are manifesting it. So we really need to be clear that we are the creators of our own future, but also of the future of humanity. And therefore, having this vision that is connected to, so-called, I don't know the better word, but like the bad experiences we had. Like we don't want to have all the suffering in the future. If you ask people, they want to be in a good connection to other people. They want to be in a good social system. They want to have love and good relationships. And they don't want to have enough food and a place where they feel safe. So most of the people have kind of the same idea of the future, but still we are fighting against each other how this could look like. So perhaps it's good to understand how, if we have all the same values about that, how can we really create something that is not connected to the bad experiences we had in our past?
It's very interesting because today more and more people talk about communes and social understanding and whatever. And I was brought up in the communism. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I tell you, it is a magical place. And all the capitalist countries, of course, they killed communism, saying that, oh, the leaders were dictators and whatever. I mean, if you look around, everybody's a dictator. But I tell you, we had so much treasure in our lives. We had free education and a very good one. And of course, free health system. Everybody had a job. Nobody lived on the street, you understand? I mean, the basic understanding of life was there, and the basic solution to everybody's life within the country was there. So it is very exciting to see that actually the communism was a step ahead of the capitalism, but was ruined by the capitalism. And now the capitalism is slowly sort of going towards the communism. Well, of course, when I say communism, I am talking about these socialist ideas of living together and helping each other and helping our environment and our children and everything. I mean, it is really very interesting and very good.
Yeah, I would like to add something, because there's a very good model, it's called Spherodynamics, and it explains like there's always a society that is more like in this kind of social system, and then it goes to the ecosystem. So it's always going like back and forth, but also like in this evolutionary process, it's like it says, it's a spiral, it goes up. So for example, being on the blue level of this system, it's all about law and order, but it's also about being together. And then we go into, for example, the yellow system that is more about consuming things, capitalism, being more ego-centered, and so on and so on. Like the next one is the green level. This is all about ecological thinking, about communities, and so on. So what I see is we have to understand in which level is a society in every country right now, and what is the next step this society has to go into. And for me, it's clear that there will always be this one thinking, like we need to do things together. And then if this becomes too much, then the next level is again being more ego-centered. So also this could be interesting, like are we now able, for example, to go into the next level from green, for example, into the integral, or even from integral into the holistic one? These are the questions.
Yes, and this Awakening Summit is very exciting, actually, because we want to add some knowledge, some information to people to help them get up on this spiral, of course, and help them to see beyond their everyday vision as such. In one word, to open their comfort zone, of course, you know, because I mean, every person on earth has a different comfort zone. Some people's comfort zone is the bedroom, and other people's comfort zone is the ever expanding universe. You know, I mean, I am very comfortable in the ever expanding universe, and people are looking at me, huh? Why and how do you do that? But for me, it is a very logical interrelation, and it is a very logical matrix as such. So probably that's why I feel very comfortable in it. However, I think the biggest problem for people is that they don't understand their past. Do you understand what I'm talking about? They don't understand where they come from. They don't understand a human being as such. Yeah, they don't understand the actual capabilities of a human being and all the possibilities of expanding their ideas and knowledge and life. They don't understand what happiness is. They don't understand how to be able to summon the courage to leave the fear behind and sort of face the future, whatever it comes or whatever it is. What do you think about that?
I think that most people are not aware of their past. Of course, they are not aware about, for example, their mindset. They are not aware of their beliefs. They are not aware of what is blocking them also to create their future. All the blocking beliefs they have about themselves, about the world, for example. So if people become aware of what has been their past, they are able also to change parts of it. There's no need to go on into the future having a blocking belief about themselves. Like, for example, they feel that they are not good enough, that they are not loved, that they are not the creators of their own life, but life is happening to them. Like all these beliefs, if you eliminate it or clear it, you can create a different future. Also, of course, most of the people have no clue about their past lives, like any knowledge about their story in the Akashic records, for example.
Yes.
So yeah, and all this influences our present time. And of course, with that, as we create in this present time our future in every moment, if you are not aware of your past, this will create, you will create your future in a different way than when you are aware of that.
Yes, I usually say that you don't need to deal with your past any longer, because you should learn from your past. And when you learn from your past and close it up, of course, and when you learn from your past, it is in your present already. So whatever you took from your past into your present, that's fine. That's what you learned from your past. So you shouldn't cling to your past any longer. You understand? And then I say, obviously, that if you have the past, you cannot have a future, because you are in the past, and it just doesn't really work that way. So it is very interesting how people are afraid of changes and how they cling to certain ideas, and especially within families. They always talk about generations, how the generations are sticking together. I look at it a bit differently, because the soul has a lot of saying in that, and the soul does not belong to generations, because the physical generation is a very different generation from the soul and the knowledge of the soul itself. So I think it is very confusing also for people. What do you think?
Of course, if you look into families, you can see that certain topics are given over from one generation to the other. So you have this in your ancestral line, definitely. You can see, for example, if you have problems with violence, you can see this from one generation to the next, until someone is able to stop it and to break this pattern. But this is something different than having like the soul family. And of course, there is a different connection into that.
Yeah. Well, we are in this very exciting thing. What do you think about this pandemic? And what do you think, how long is going to happen? Just talk about something exciting.
Yeah, well, from my point of view, we do have a virus that is called coronavirus. We already had this virus for forever. Even when I worked in clinical microbiology, we already had this kind of virus. So, but this is not really a deadly virus as it is shown or like it is promoted here at this time. So, from my point of view, there is nothing like a pandemic. We have, like every year, we have the influenza, and we have the cold, and we have like this, yeah, like the problems with the coronavirus. But now I think this is more like an agenda that is set up for people to bring them under control, and also to get them into this vaccination, which is it's a DNA manipulation system. We don't know what is really all inside of this injection. Like, why do we have graphene inside of this? It doesn't make any sense either if you don't want to use it, like, for example, to bring on special frequencies on people, and then, of course, you will have this magnetic effect. So, from my point of view, I don't know when this will end, because there is a certain agenda behind. And if we, like the people who are able to awaken other people, are not the ones that are enough or strong enough to create this other new world, then it is fought by the people that are now in power. Perhaps this will not end, because it's a good money machine for the pharmaceutical industry. It's bringing all the politicians in even more power, and all the people that are on top of the pyramid. I think it is really a special time right now to see if this, I would call it like the technocratic way, will take over humanity, or if people that are awakened can step out or even do the shift for everyone. I'm not sure about that. And of course, if we really have something like time, I think this is also only a construct, as we are multidimensional beings, and we are in different timelines all the time. So
yes, sure. So we are here in the Awakening Summit. I am planning to have this summit every second month, actually, and gather more and more teachers and knowledgeable people, you know, who could add some information to the summit. And hopefully one day we will have an audience, because at the moment I think not many people are interested in that. However, I have this idea that people are only interested in something if they already have some information in their mind about it, because the information produces the hook, where the knowledge can hook onto. And otherwise, we just talk. They say, oh yeah, that was interesting. And of course, a week later, nothing happened and they are back to their old selves. So that's why I think to give people more and more sort of keywords to open their mind, and open the folders in their subconscious to actually see what is there and implement them into life. It's very, very, very useful, and that is our mission to do. Okay, let us get a bit above, so as below, so above. So let us get into above. What do you think? What do you think? What is the actual teaching from the universe at the moment for us that is useful to our awakening? But if there is any. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. I just, because you are psychic also, so we all have ideas and of course knowledge also about the universal understanding of Earth. So what kind of connection can you see there? Or is there any information we would receive down on Earth from the universe through the stars or anything,
So what I see is that we have like the Schumann Resonance, like this is the heartbeat of the Earth. We have always like very high values that are like, when you look back, they have not been normal for many, many years, but now it is like going up very high. And I can, from my point of view, this has a huge impact also on our bodies. And I think that there can be a kind of decoding or bringing in new codes coming with that. Also, we see that like the sun is creating solar flares that come on the Earth, and our magnetic field is going up and down. So these are frequencies that impact the energy body of us. Like our cells will react on that. So I don't know what kind of coding this is, but I can see that we have this kind of different impacts that come from outside, so like from the universe.
Yeah, sure. And do you have this feeling that the physical body is not capable of evolving with the speed of the universe?
I see a lot of people having symptoms, like they're totally tired, or they feel like tickling in the body, or they feel that they can't sleep, or like a lot of people have symptoms at the moment. I'm not sure if this is because of all the energetic influence we have from the universe, but it could be that our bodies are shifting to something that is kind of difficult to do in this high density. So yeah, I don't know.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. looking at our life nowadays, you know, we have a lot of problems as such. Somehow it looks like humanity or the leaders of humanity wants to kill humanity in one way or another. Yeah, we have all the biological weaponry, of course, in our lives, in our food, in the air, in the water, what is important to us, and everything else really. And we cannot escape it because we need water, we need air, we need food, and it is very difficult to find sort of green roads where what we can take and get on with sort of greener or healthier living. And I have this, not just a feeling, because I am a healer also, and I do work with people, especially with people who don't go to doctors anymore because the doctors said, no, I cannot help you any longer, you know, and then they come to me. So that's how it is. And what is showing on humanity at the moment, that the digestive system is ruining very badly and very fast. I mean, 20 years back, 30 years back, it was almost unspoken to see 20 years old or even 12 years old persons with big digestive problems. Of course, they did have occasional ones, but nowadays it's really common, you know, and obviously because of all the chemical substances we have in our lives, and of course the Monsanto with all the chemicals in our food and also in the fields. So whatever we put into the field, it's just not going to become the healthy food what we are sort of dreaming about, or what we had, let's say, 30 years ago. I mean, it wasn't that far back. So it's very interesting. And the body and the bone structure is falling apart also very much. I mean, 4 or 5 years old children are diagnosed with high blood pressure. How does it happen? And they of course, they give them medication for it. So what do you think? How can we escape this catch-22, you know, because whatever we do and whenever we go, we are actually grabbed by the money powers. Here we grabbed by the food industry, and on the other hand, we are grabbed with the modern medicine. So how can we escape it?
I think this is a process. I can only tell you what I'm doing. So
sure, please.
Yeah. So I would say, don't eat things your grandmother wouldn't eat. Like if you go into the supermarket, everything that has a package that needs beautiful colors and needs marketing and is not, you can't see what is inside, you would not understand what kind of ingredients are inside, don't eat it. I'm buying my food on the organic market. So I know the producers that are small producers here on the island. They produce this veggies and fruits organically, so they don't use any pesticides or anything. I try to buy things that I can understand what they are. Like if you want to have bread, buy the ingredients, like whatever you need. And do it for yourself. I'm breaking very often my bread by myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have also some springs here, so we can get clean water. So, but I'm on a special island. Yeah, so I'm in Madeira, and we have a lot of nature here, and we have all the year sunlight, so we can produce everything. It is not a problem. It is different if you are in other countries, especially in the northern ones, where we only have a small season to create your stuff. But when I look back, when I'm grown up, my grandmother had a huge garden with all the veggies and fruits, and every time I visited her, I had to clean up whatever beans or cherries, or yeah, it was always a season for something. And then we cooked the veggies to make them available for over the winter time. So I'm grown up in Germany, and she had a huge storage area for potatoes, and a huge freezer for whatever. Yeah, so I'm grown up with this kind of living, to have my own veggies, and to I know how to yeah, cook them, that they are useful for a long time. And this is one thing I would tell people: understand what kind of products you're buying. So buy them as organic as it is possible. Yeah. Also, I'm not eating meat, so for me, okay, not everybody needs to be vegetarian, but it also means that like I don't support the mass industry of meat production, where animals suffer, where they use chemicals and antibiotics and whatever to let them grow faster and be healthy. So don't eat meat or fish that is produced this way. And yeah.
Yes, to the many people condemn meat, and they stick to vegetables. However, I have a very different idea of all that eating is. I don't eat much meat, but I do eat meat occasionally. However, my problem is that, you know, eating a carrot is killing the carrot. And the carrot suffers just as much from all the Monsanto and pesticides, just as much as the animals do. And I can have a much better conversation with a carrot than with any animals whatsoever. You understand? I think people, because the carrot doesn't move, doesn't smile, doesn't wiggle the tail, they don't pay attention to the vegetation as much as they do to animals. However, we need to understand that the animal, this pet industry, what we have, all pets are genetically created and go through a lot of stuff, and of course fed with this disgraceful food, what they say they should be fed, of course, you know, manufactured products, and most of the pets die of, again, digestive dysfunction because of the food they eat. And also, all the pets eat meat, because in every pet food you find meat. So I don't really understand, I don't have the logic, or I cannot see the logic behind that, actually. I think we are a bit sort of hasty with deciding upon certain things, certain lifestyle. I think the cycle of nature is important. And of course, there are many vegetables are there just for us to feed on. But I would say that many animals are there also for us to feed on. You understand? It's just people are not very happy about my understanding of life and the cycle. But if you think about it a bit closely, then it is pretty logical. So I would say it's not really part of the awakening to stick to only vegetations, because I'm crying for the carrots or the whatever.
Yeah, when I look back, my mother has been grown up on a farm. So they had pigs and cows and chicken and horses and whatever. And as a child, I have been there very often because of the horses. But what I also could see is like the other animals, they were all out in the pasture. So they were in the sunlight, they eat their grass and like they were healthy because of that. And then one day there was a decision, okay, now we have to kill the pig, and it was killed right there on the farm. Yeah. And of course, then we ate it. But this is a different way the animals have grown up. There was nothing like this mass production. And I think that every time we go into having something like an industry, it is the food industry, it is also the healthcare industry. We are in a system that is making money out of that. So it's nothing bad about having money, but it's like the mindset is shifting. It's not only about feeding people, making people healthy or helping them to stay healthy. Now it's an industry, and it is about the shareholder, and it's not about producing something good anymore.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, actually. And if I look into the supermarkets, and I mean, most supermarkets sell vegetables and fruits, and those fruits and most of the fruits are actually sitting in warehouses for a year or two before they get on display. And can you imagine? I mean, they do have to have a lot of chemicals put into them and to preserve them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to sit there. So for me, it is lucky if you have a market, obviously, and I am lucky too. I am living in Athens. We have the street market moving around in the center of the city, everywhere. So it's really good, but not many people can do that. I mean, especially in the United States, in the supermarkets. Apart from the supermarkets, I haven't seen any markets there. Probably there are, but I haven't been in a place where they were. So it is very interesting to see that. I think the mind and the way of thinking has to shift about eating habits, but probably in a different way than we are approaching at the moment. And of course, that is one thing I was saying, that the physical body is not capable of evolving as much as or as fast as life does, because we cannot take on all the chemicals we are given, actually. And even if we are not consciously taking them, they are there. And the body suffers from it, because the body cannot get used to all that chemicals that as fast as that. So we are actually doomed in one way and another. But we are going to get out of it because we are very clever. So, what wisdom do you have for people who wants to be awakened and want to get out of the comfort zone and to learn something about themselves mostly?
So what I would ask people to do is really to look first inside, to understand about their own past, to understand what is holding them back to create the life they really want to have. And after that, creating a vision and bringing this out to humanity. But you have to start first inside and then go outside.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Well, it was a very beautiful conversation. If you have anything else to say, you are welcome.
Yeah, so I would like to give a free gift to our audience that is a 6-step meditation to create their vision. And this can also be very helpful to do some inner work. And I would like to give this free gift, and perhaps you can give the link somewhere in the description so that people can have this 6-step meditation to create their vision.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much for your generosity. I knew you would come out with something more. It's really nice. Thank you very, very much. It was a wonderful conversation and hope to see you very soon.
Thank you so much.
Swanette. Bye.